Welcome back to the Finer Fam podcast.
Welcome back to the Fixing of the Family podcast, where we fix families and we're therapists. We're therapists now. So
don't quote us on that. We're definitely not therapists.
Therapists.
I don't want to deal with your shit. I got enough problems. Deal with your own issues.
Shut your
moots.
Shut your mouth, you fucking rats. You fucking rats.
You might log us in the room, probably like, what the fuck is going on in there? But yeah, welcome back to the Finer Fam podcast, episode, what are we on, 11 now?
We're on episode
11
because Big Spanky was on 10.
Yes,
and
sir.
that was our last episode.
Getting thrown off by these weeks.
So welcome
Time
back
is
to the
vanishing.
episode of 2 1s.
Double one?
Double one?
All right.
11 days after our previous episode.
Yeah, there we go. 11-11. Big W's.
Yep.
All right.
Our last
And-
episode of 69 views. Banger.
And one day after 2-2-2, 22. 2-2-2-22-22.
Let's go back to
Dude.
2011.
Now.
We could go 1-1-1-1-1-1-1.
Yeah. I think this is the last time. Is it the last time we'll be able to experience it? No. 2033. Yeah, we'll have it again in our lifetime.
2020 through 2020.
3,
21,
3.
22. 21, 22 will be the next time.
No, I'm saying for threes. The next time we can have all the numbers across the board, right?
3,
Yeah, it'd be the next. It'd be
2033.
Yeah, 2033. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the next time this would be all the twos would be out of our lifetime. So GG.
How do you know that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna inject myself with the fucking invincible serum. I'm Deadpool now.
Adrenochrome. Epstein's Island. Oh shit.
Oh shit. They're coming for us. Yeah, but it's February. February obviously being Black History Month and all that shit. There's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, as far as the world goes, we got the full fucking Russia-Ukraine deal going on again. And all the memes coming up on TikTok.
Like, I want to go there and personally beat up Russia.
And
Please be a
people
war
talking about
so
some,
we can
yeah,
go.
let's go war zone and shit.
Yeah, let's go.
All right,
And then
dude.
there's actual war veterans who's like Purple Heart. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want the win the Purple Heart. You don't want to be given that.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. Yeah,
You're not
you
gonna
see that one part
respawn.
of the video. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no respawns here, buddy.
You're not gonna respawn.
What is because I'm not actually familiar with it off the top of my head. What is the Purple Heart?
Purple's heart is a combat wound. If you come back from you get shot or something.
Oh, okay.
If you're wounded, you get a Purple Heart.
All right. Yeah, because I know there's a couple of them, but I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah. And not fun.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You can go in there and think you're in a Call of Duty it the whole way, but you're one
step on a landmine, and you're
gonna
gone.
end up dead or crippled for the rest of your life. And if you don't come home dead or crippled, you're gonna come home mentally scarred.
You know what I do with these
Yeah.
You're gonna come back pretty That's
Everyone thinks it's fine and dandy. Oh, I'll go in there. I'm not gonna get killed. I'm gonna come. Yeah, you can come home. You can be the luckiest fucking person and come home with no injuries. It's not gonna affect you still. I don't care how
you'll
tough
still
you
see
are.
shit unless you don't get put on out in the field. You'll still see some shit.
I know the levels vary, but I don't think there's a single soldier who's seen at real combat
been in combat that hasn't come back
who
with
doesn't
some
have PTSD,
or at least
some form.
some form of something that triggers them in some way where they're timid about something. But yeah, off of that note, the Winter Olympics just ended. Something that I follow pretty closely. I don't know if you were following it at all. I thought it was, for one, for the Summer Olympics, which is an episode that got scrapped for reasons we're not going to bring up. I'm kind of pissed about that episode that I really wanted to talk about and got into some good detail about. Ended up getting scrapped. But I got the winter one. The Summer Olympics I was following pretty closely, more closely than previous years, specifically this year, especially with all the skateboarding stuff being added. That was pretty cool for me, being somebody who's been into that for a while. Obviously, snowboarding and skiing and all that shit's been in the Olympics forever for the winter. So that was really cool to follow and see everything that's going on. Shaun White just competed in his fifth and final Olympics, which is nuts to think that somebody could be in the Olympics for 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
That's nuts.
4 Olympics.
5
Olympics.
It's nuts to even put that into perspective of somebody really being that good for that long to be able to make the team that many times and still be pushing the envelope of what people are doing.
Put into perspective that neither USA or Canada made it to the finals in the hockey Olympics.
Yeah, that's also another new thing.
Neither.
Well, for women's, yes. Men's, no.
No.
The women's bout is still, you know, going with their rivalry. I think, what is it, 1-1 now for those games, or is
I
it?
think so.
Yeah. But that's, you know, the women's games are still interesting to watch. Obviously, the men's are just, you know, they're just buzzing around and fucking going to town. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's still an entertaining thing to watch. I think, you know, the Winter Olympics, obviously not as long as the summer, definitely don't get enough love. Obviously, the sports are a little more niche, but
Yeah.
I think,
Because everyone's like, oh, you can't do anything in the winter.
yeah, but clearly there's a whole. Clearly, the Olympics have a category for each of those sports, so they're doing something. But yeah, the Winter Olympics this year were really good. I thought, you know, the way that they handled everything, especially with, you know, the COVID slowly going away, or, you know, being, you know, kind of dealt with in a way, as well as, you know, the way that they just handled the entire ceremonies and how they set up their venues, which was really cool to see, because some of the actual like ceremony where they had the ceremony was just the one they used from Beijing back in 2008. So they just kind of were able to use the same facility area that they did before, which I thought was really cool, because, you know, more often than not, it's like, you know, they build these stadiums and then after the Olympics leave, they just kind of trash them, you know.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see that Beijing kept theirs intact and that they were still able to, you know, be ready to host another one. So shout out to them for, you know, hosting a great Olympics and, you know, having a crazy ass, for one, slope style course, big air and all that stuff, how they set it up. It was wild.
Did any weird shit happen with like the coming back from out of the country?
Nah, I think it was warm welcomes for everybody who left.
Were just, I don't know, because there was some weird shit going on. People thought that some crazy shit was gonna happen.
Nah, nothing happened.
And
everybody
luckily
came
nothing
back.
happened. They
Everybody
were like,
came
oh,
back
they're gonna
safe
fucking
and
keep them
sound.
there. It's gonna be a big problem.
Yeah, there were. I think it's for what it was cool about it is like for Tokyo for the Olympics, athletes and obviously fans weren't allowed to go to each other's things. Like, you know, they weren't allowed to go to other events. This time, you know, it's the first time that again they're able to go.
Yeah, they roomed with each other.
Yeah, they
and
roomed
shit,
with
so
each other.
it's
They were
like-
able to go to each other's games or events or whatever it may be. There was also some spectators, if they were able to get a pass or whatever to go in, they were able to be there. So that was cool. What I'm excited for is LA 2028. I actually want to try to get a volunteer spot for that one. So if anybody, God willing, sees this freaking podcast, please send me some information because I really want to do that. I
What,
know,
like, just volunteer for what?
just to help out with the Olympics and
Oh,
any
just, like,
whatever
setup and
event
shit?
setup or you know, whatever it may be, like, you know, helping out with, you know, venues or whatever when those games are going on. That'd be sick, because obviously they're going to be some of them are going to be at the Staples Center. It's going to be the summer games. They're going to be at the Staples Center, downtown LA, wherever the fuck. I feel like that'd be sick as
Dude.
to be able to help out with.
Crypto.com arena to you, sir.
I hate that name so much. It's so
Crypto.com
bad.
arena and Willis Tower to you, sir.
Both two very boof names, two very bad names. But speaking of Winter Olympics, winter
This
sports.
is so fake.
What?
I'm sorry. Listen, I need to get this off my
Hold
chest.
on 1 second. What is that?
I don't know what
Hold
that
on.
is.
1 second. Go ahead.
This place is fucking haunted. This is the perfect opportunity, though, because I just need to show this. Which camera should I show this to? Which one would be better? All right. Guys, listen here. This shark encounter video is so stupid. And you may have seen it before. It's viral as shit. But I watch shark encounter videos all the time. And it bothers me how fake this one is, and people still think it's real. You're right. So, let's come up and show you guys real quick.
Oh, shoot. And I'm back. Sorry, we had some audio in the background being picked
So
up.
look at this, right?
What are we seeing here?
You're going to tell me this dude is about to cliff jump, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going to tell me he's about to cliff jump. He jumps in, right?
Shark, right?
He goes out. Oh, yeah, look at this, guys. Look at him in the water. There's a jump cut, first of all. So, oh, color of the water changes. Giant great white. Great white!
In a lake?
In, like, this, either a lake or a, like, canal? Dude, where is that deep water coming from? Right next to that cliff?
Yeah, that's cap. I'm going to keep it a rack.
No, the water color is not even correct. It's not even the correct
Like,
color.
not even remotely. There's so many
It's-
videos that the actual one is posted
Yeah,
somewhere.
no,
But that's
this
not it.
one is so stupid. They had this dude jump off the f***ing cliff with the GoPro, swim around.
And then
You're
act
gonna tell
like
me.
there's a shark
You're gonna
there.
tell me in this water that's not perfectly clear. He's swimming, just points the camera right at it.
Right. There's an actual clip where that does exist, where the guy jumps in and as he goes into the water, you see the whole thing. It's not like a jump cut.
And you're gonna tell me he's under the water screaming, puts his hand under the water, and goes. No, you're swimming.
Bro, you get out of the way.
So whoever made this, shut up. Shut the up. Don't ever make a video again.
We don't like fake content over here. Stop it right now. Come on, hell no. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of winter sports and the Winter Olympics, obviously great games. Shout out to Beijing for hosting another good games. We had a trip this weekend. This past weekend, actually. Took a trip out to New York. Went to go see some friends that live up there and had a good time. Went snowboarding. Obviously, now we've gone on a couple of trips, over the past few seasons. And it went well for the most part. Obviously had some interesting...
I had food poisoning the first half, so it went well for the half part for me. I would say it was a 50% awesome trip, but 50% shit. I
would say that you did get some trouble saved having to not wait at least the way there when you were feeling sick. The airport was very quick for our way there. Less than probably 15-20 minutes getting through the airport.
By normal standards, it was a pretty quick process.
Yeah. Shout out American Airlines for the amazing customer service and process of getting us through the TSA and all that shit, because it was like 15-20 minutes max that we got through there, and O'Hare, because their setup is sick. But yeah, we went to New York to originally landed at LaGuardia. Shout out LaGuardia Airport for the renovations that they did, because for the most part it's pretty sick. And hung out in Greenpoint or Williamsburg area, Brooklyn. We live in Brooklyn, baby. But yeah, shout out to all the people that we hung out with: Andy, Amanda, Pat. Shout out to you guys. And yeah, we had a pretty damn good time. Obviously, we were up there for Andy's birthday, I guess so to say. A little later than his birthday, but yeah, we hung out with him. Snowboarded for about 2.5 days, so to say, or a day and a half. Only downside was a little icy, but we got some clips in there, so I'll throw them in right here, and you guys will be able to see those, and see a little bit of what we did. I took some on my phone as well as on a GoPro, and I think some of them did. I think Joe even took a couple clips here and there, but yeah, I'll throw those in. You guys can see those, and then we'll get into our next topic.
Epic montage coming up right your way.
Yeah, something like that. Some sort of montage or a little, I guess, short bundle of clips sporadically thrown together. But yeah. Let's see. One thing I did have, since it's Black History Month, obviously, we have Black History Month for a reason. A little bit of, I guess, to enlighten some people about things that have happened, as well as, I guess, shed light on things because of things that happened in the past with racism and shit like that. So, I had some topics about, modern day hypocrisy and racism and shit like that. I don't even know if I'm going to say it because we're on the pod and I don't give a what I say on here. But this is my view on this shit. And before I say anything, I am not diminishing the weight of racism in any way. Listen to how I say this very carefully, because this could be taken very wrong. But what I'm saying here is, me personally, when somebody tries to, and this is the whole, thing that I'm going to encompass here, is for me personally, when somebody tries to attack me with some sort of racism or something like that, the response I choose to it is as comedy. Why? Because, another note I have on here is, the only way, the main goal of people being racist is to piss you off or to get a reaction out of it. Mm-hmm. So if you take that reaction away, there is no point in doing it. It's like somebody bullying somebody, but they're just like, all right, fuck you, dude. Like, they don't get mad about it. Then they'll be like, all right, whatever, what the fuck? This is a waste of my time. Like, what am I doing?
Exactly. So any person who's being a jerk or being a bully.
Yeah.
If you're being a bully, like, in school, like whether it's racist or not, like
Yeah.
especially with racism.
Just in general,
if
concept
if you
of
don't
bullying.
get the reaction you want, like
Why do it?
yeah, exactly. Like this guy, I saw a clip of like some kid called another kid the N-word in high school.
Mhm.
It's a pretty old clip. You've probably seen it, but the kid like gets up and runs after him and chases him around and like tries fighting him, which is like, yeah, that's a pretty,
Understandable.
pretty
Yes,
good reaction.
understandably.
But your cause would be a lot more effective if you sat there and just laughed at him and didn't
Do
make
anything.
a fool of yourself. Now you're running and chasing him down the hallway.
Which is exactly what he wanted to do, is cause a
He
scene.
said something very bad, yes, that he should have said.
Oh, of course.
And I'm not saying the kid who chased him is in the wrong.
No.
But he could have made himself look a lot like, has made himself, his cause fucking more effective by sitting there and just being like, look at this idiot.
Yeah.
Like he's saying this shit, like thinking.
You thought this was going to work?
But no, instead he kind of makes a
Feeding
fool
into-
of
yeah,
himself
feeding
by
into what he wanted to
running
do.
after the kid and chasing him because that's exactly what the kid wants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think really like, a lot better way to deal with it is to either just laugh at it or just completely ignore it.
Yeah, like, and it's not saying ignore it, like, the weight of racism doesn't exist. Well, that's not what we're saying anyway. So before anybody gets it twisted, that's not what we're saying.
Yeah, but just when someone says some race shit to try to upset you,
Don't
just be like,
yeah, exactly. Don't
just
feed
treat it
the
like
fire.
Either treat it as just nothing, and be like, oh, this person's ignorant, I'm just gonna not deal with them, or be like, look at this.
Yeah,
idiot.
like, you thought this was gonna work?
look at
Like, what,
this
you
guy.
fucking idiot? Like, because the thing is that, especially for me, that's how I see it. Is like you're just feeding the fire. You're like, you reacting to it is like, that's exactly what they want. So why give them what they want? And it's like a thing of like, people are always like, oh, will racism ever go away? And I'm like, well, for one, the biggest thing is, was the word institutionalized, or like, it's kind of a problem because people in certain areas are still believing that, so their kids see it and that's what they believe. I don't know if that the word is institutionalized for that or not, but it's part of like their system. It's they're born wherever you are that so happens to have this mindset, and you see your parents have like, because as a kid you're not born with this. You just see everybody as a kid. You're just like, it's your friends or whatever.
I mean, that's kind of the whole goal of ending racism, is to just it be a non-factor.
Because it's the biggest problem is people who are older than us who you see them doing that shit and you're like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. Like, that's what my parents do, so then it's right. I guess that I'm supposed to do that. But that's not how it is. For that's something that where it's like, eventually it has to die off by, either one, people do, like I said, like I do myself, is like, you don't let it get to you. You just kind of see it as like, oh, like you're an idiot. You thought that was going to work. Or two, people who are, putting that in their kids have to just be eliminated. And I say this in like, a fucking broad, image, but like, not exist. There can't be people teaching their kids this because it's always going to be there. So like I said, like the note I had after was, how do we stop it or take its power, and like would be taking its power away, which is, like I'm saying, you either laugh it off and like, obviously the weight of it, but you can't let it offend you because obviously, yes, it happened, but it didn't happen directly to you. That's how I see it. It's like I understand the shit that happened, and I understand that could have been somebody that was related to me in some way, shape, or form. But that wasn't directly me, so I don't let it affect me like it was directly me. I still understand the weight of it. I still don't see it as right in any way whatsoever, but I don't let it get to me as if I was the one who went through that, because that's exactly what people want you to do.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, with like the way all this stuff with slavery and stuff that happened. Like, yeah, that's horrible that happened.
Yes.
Terrible. Should never happen. But like, at the same time, like me personally, like my ancestors, like, they were in Europe before fucking any of that, or after that shit had even happened.
Yeah.
Like, so people will always like, oh, this and that with slavery. It's good to learn about that.
Of course.
But the problem with it is people that are still holding grudges against like people nowadays.
Yeah. Like that wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
especially when it's like people like me with like European descent and shit. It's like, they're just like, oh, there's white people with slavery and stuff. It's like, dude, white is such a broad term.
That's true.
That's like,
yeah, that's very true.
It encompasses so many people that it's like, in trying to fight something bad that happened and trying to shine light on this, like, you are now
doing the exact same thing,
oppressing an entire group of people who have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that like, I was saying is it's kind of like and this is also a problem with even not even just people being like oh, white versus black. There's internal like racism between just black and other black people.
Yeah.
Like the one thing where it's like the one thing that pisses, obviously, you guys hear the podcast, you guys hear me. If you were to hear me and not see me, you'd probably assume I was a white dude at first. But that's the big thing. Like, that's one of the main things I hear. Like a bunch of my friends who's have an education and were raised to kind of sound however you sound. It's the environment you're in.
Yeah.
People get mad. Like other people who are black get mad at you because you sound white. Or like quote unquote white, or yeah.
Because you.
What does that mean?
Just because you're articulate.
Yeah.
Like you're
because I pronounce shit. Like sorry. Like you say things the way you do. I say things the way you do. I don't judge. I don't say, oh, you're blacker than me because you fucking sound like that. Yeah. No, that's not how it works, man. Like. And it's not like, same thing. It's like, other people who are Italian or whatever the fuck it is. They don't say you're not Italian because you don't sound like a straight up dago or whatever you want to say.
I'm walking on gabagool, you fucking bafangula, you motherfucker.
It's just not how you. It's not how you
walk around and do that. Like,
nah, and it's like
some people choose to do that. Like that's whatever.
That is one of the biggest things. With the problem is like. Even within people's own race, whether you are white, whether you're black, Hispanic, some form of Asian, Middle Eastern, whatever the fuck it is, that happens within your own race, and that's even a problem.
Yeah.
Because how like
a perfect example of that is like you were saying with Italians. There's this term they use called bafangul.
Yeah.
It's like when someone who's not Italian or like a lesser percentage of Italian like pretends to be more Italian. Yeah. It's like, dude. Who cares? They want to embrace the culture. Let them embrace the culture.
They're trying to be a part of it. Like they want to understand it.
Yeah.
Like it happens a lot with like a lot of Hispanic cultures as well. It's the same thing. It's like somebody doesn't let's say for example myself, somebody doesn't speak Spanish, and they talk to another person who's Hispanic that speaks Spanish. I'm like, what the fuck?
You don't speak Spanish? You're not.
Yeah,
like,
you're not Puerto Rican. Tell me. Like, what the fuck is that? That's like kind of shit. Like,
yeah, oh, you don't speak Italian? You're not. You must not be really Italian.
Like, all right, like,
okay, all right. Like, you're gatekeeping. You're gatekeeping people now.
Yeah,
like,
what is this? Like, I thought we were trying to beat racism. Now it started back up. Like, yeah, it's like stuff like that. And then the one that pisses me off the most is like, especially with and this goes for a lot of races, but the one I hear the most is like from like other people who are black and shit like that. They're like, "Oh, that's white people shit." I'm like, "What does that even mean?" Like I think it was somebody in my house that said it.
Like that's like it just goes
stupid.
both ways.
That's what I'm saying. It's keeping. It's
obviously historically it's gone more one way.
Yes, but
now in the present day, I think it goes every direction. I think it's fucking pretty. It's pretty much a free for all now. Because everyone fucking.
That one pissed me off because I heard somebody say that. And I was talking about because I was talking about snowboarding, and this goes in with what we were talking about with the Winter Olympics and all that shit. And they were like, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been snowboarding since like 6th grade. And I was like, and they're like, well, that's some white people shit. I'm like, what's a sport is for white people? Like, that's what does it make sense? That's like, and I was like, I was trying to make the point to them. I was like, well, that makes no sense. And I was like, dude, that's kind of inner racism, like bro, like because you're just keeping yourself in the same spot. Like when people say shit like that, it's like I think about it this way. It's like. Well, that just like how are you going to deem something as only for one race? Because that's just kind of keeping us in one spot. Then, like we can't get past that. How does that make any sense?
Even some like that's an example of a black person reinforcing the color barrier.
Yeah.
As a black
exactly.
person,
That's what I'm saying. Like
saying
it doesn't make any
that's
sense.
White people shit or like
doesn't make any sense.
It's like you're hurting your own cause.
Race.
Yeah. Like, it's like. What are you doing? It's white people shit.
That's like some like respect. And this is a very like very broad example, but that's like some white dude, seeing some other white dude eating some chicken, and like, oh, that's some black people shit. Like,
yeah, like
that's not how it works.
It's not how it works. It's just as bad. It's
literally just as bad. It's the exact same thing, and it pisses me off so much because like I think about like overall how far humanity has come as far as beating racism and diminishing it to the littlest bit that it can be. And then there's shit like that that's like, why are you still trying to hold on to that?
Exactly.
Why can't you go out and try to snowboard because you're a black dude? That doesn't make any sense.
It's like, to me, the way I look at it, it's like I said before, the ultimate goal is that it's a non-factor in anything. Like,
yes, exactly, exactly.
And like he said before, listen carefully to what I'm about to say.
Very carefully.
Open your fucking ears.
Listen if you have to turn down the speed to 0.5.
If you need to stop what you're doing, because I know a lot of people listen to this while they're doing some other shit. If you need to stop what you're doing and listen to this,
please do.
Stop and listen to this.
Or pause it and wait till you're not doing anything to listen to this part.
Before you go fucking insane.
they're racist.
Insane. Call me a racist.
Yeah.
I think the ultimate goal of all of this is to one day not have Black History Month, not have whatever History Month, because
It should just be history.
it's just history.
Yes, exactly.
The black shouldn't be a factor in it.
It should just be history.
One day we shouldn't have to say anymore. First black person to do this. First.
It should just be first person to that.
It's just this person did this.
Yeah.
They're a person that did it.
Obviously, it's cool, to acknowledge, like, let's say, okay, for example, it's not a common thing for a lot of, and this is, a very true fact. Obviously, it's not something that we see all the time. But for, for example, the NBA, we don't see a lot of Asian players in the NBA. We don't see a lot of Middle Eastern players. For all that I care, I wouldn't mind if somebody from like the Middle East or wherever the hell, somebody from Russia or, some small country comes in, Timbuktu comes to the NBA, and they say, oh, this is the first player from this country or wherever the they're from. And cool, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be like, oh, this is the first black dude. Like, nah, do your research on the person and find out where they're from for real, and then say that, because that's cool. Like, that's understandable. Like when they had who was it that they had most recently? For snowboarding, for example, the first, I think his name is Brolin Mawaji. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But he's like from somewhere on the African continent, a country that's not, known for at all for like, snowboarding or whatever. And he's like the first dude that's really been close to scraping the surface of getting into the Olympics and he's been in professional events already.
Yeah.
Coming from literally nothing. That's cool. Shit like that. Make
should
that
be about
nothing.
the story.
Yes, the story, not the
about
fucking
the color of their skin.
Thank you. They
It's
could be from West Bumblefuck, and if you tell a story about how they came from fucking like a farm and they made it to this,
exactly.
do that. Thank
It's
you.
Like go over what the environment,
I don't care about the motherfucker looks like.
why it was hard for them because of the environment they were in. And like obviously, as of now, it's still a problem with the color of the skin.
Yeah,
but
which sucks. But
the ultimate goal should be it shouldn't have to have a spotlight on.
Obviously, an
anymore.
example for that you would know more than I would be like hockey, like players.
Yeah.
Like for hockey, for example, players that are black, it's not that common.
Yeah,
it's becoming more common with a lot of newer players coming in and stuff like that. But it's not the main, it's not the main thing because of shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the multitude of different reasons for that, like, but it's just kind of how it is, just predominantly white sport.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just not because I'm not saying like you were saying before it's white people shit, but like it's just more white people play it.
Yeah,
more white people choose to play it.
And the good thing about players, like PK Subban, obviously Evander Kane when he's not fucking gambling his money away. Who else is in the league that's black right now? Seth Jones,
Jamal Smith.
Yeah, a lot of players like that are getting kids.
Seth Jones, Caleb.
Getting
Jones.
Kids who aren't just predominantly white to play hockey, which is good.
Exactly.
That's what you want to see. And like more people are encouraging everyone to play because it's a sport and everybody should be able to at least try it.
And the thing is like it is cool to see, but there's some people who just want to like see them be in the sport just to be in it just because they're a certain color.
Yeah,
like,
that's understandable.
They have to have the compete level too. Like for example, right? You take the NFL.
Yeah.
NFL's predominantly black.
Yeah.
I don't think this white guy or this Asian guy should be in just purely on the fact that
if they're good, then they should be there.
Not purely on the fact we need more white guys or we need more Asian guys or like in NHL, same way we need more black guys. Like they need to be.
If they're good,
compete.
They should be fucking playing.
What bothers me sometimes is like whether it's black, white, whatever. Any race, they sometimes just want to like pander to them. I don't know why I'm holding this.
That's for.
I just am messing with.
Nah,
them,
but yeah,
they want to just hit like this person should be here
like
solely because
it shouldn't be like a token thing.
You're just diminishing your own point by saying they should be here because they're a certain color.
No, it's not. It shouldn't be a token thing. It should be they're here because they put in the fucking work. They busted their ass to get here, and they're good, and they're showing it. And we're gonna reward them with that spot because they showed that they can do that.
They're good, but they also happen to be this race. It's just.
Who cares?
It's not a factor.
Who
in why
cares?
they're good.
They're good. Let's let them play.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like even looking back, to when baseball first started, there was leagues that were literally just for black people because they wouldn't let them play in the regular league. I think that's kind of whack. That's kind of fucked up.
So I think, that's with like all that stuff, like just kids, the people using substances, just they're getting younger and younger because it's being so fucking normalized now.
Yeah.
Bro, like, and the access to shit is crazy because everything just is becoming more discreet in terms of like the nicotine and the weed and shit.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
I
it's kind of crazy how convenient everything's becoming.
Yeah,
for
kids nowadays
away
have
with it.
about as much access to that as they do the internet, and that's
Yeah.
why it's kind of scary. Because me personally, like, I've seen, you know, the enjoyment side of what people can do with these things, as well as the absolute tsunamis of danger that these
life-destroying
motherfuckers can bring
behavior.
in. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's just great. Like, it was a very good thing that they made the Nicotine Age 21 instead of 18.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
When it was 18, there were high school students that could walk into a vape shop, and buy a
or a gas
Nick stick.
station or whatever.
That high school students that are around 15, 16, 17
They don't even know what the they're doing yet.
Everyone was selling shit to people.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
what?
Literally, and the thing is like nobody was questioning
There
it.
were seniors selling
Nobody
shit to
was
the
questioning
left
it.
and right for like triple the price.
And kids
too.
were just spending money on it, asking
And
their
it's-
parents for money, but they didn't.
So that was like the access to it was even worse then than it is now. So at least they changed that to help it out. But it's
And
like
it's crazy because like the part that pisses me off about that shit is that for vapes, for the whole Pashas or whatever what they're called, where you're Stigs, fucking puffs, whatever they're called, you know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. There were kids. The main goal of them was not to fucking have high school kids. Yo, bro, let me get a rip. Like, nah. The main goal was to get people off of
the
cigarettes.
first ones were once they started adding the fruity flavors. That is
Well,
completely marketed towards.
Yeah, no,
young
and that's
people.
what I'm saying. Like the original goal, that's what I'm talking about. The original goal of this was to get people off of cigarettes, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing. Now, the problem here, understandable that there's different flavors, you know, even for adults who are trying to get off that.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to taste menthol. That's like, I'm pretty sure that I personally can't say because I've never tasted shit. I assume from what everybody said, it tastes like shit. Anyway, sure, cool to have mint and mango, whatever the fuck flavors you have. The problem where it came in for the advertising it towards kids, making them all colorful,
Exactly.
bright colors, looking like USBs so they can sneak into class, all this shit. That's not, bro. Why? Why feed? As much as I get that you're a business, there are plenty of adults on this
It's
planet.
a scummy business.
There are plenty of adults on this planet to be able to maintain your business without selling them to kids, without marketing for them for kids.
The thing is, like, I know multiple people who have quit cigarettes to go on to different assortments of
Yeah,
vapes.
yeah.
They're always the simple fucking gray USB looking thing that's like just a regular fucking ass flavor that they're just smoking. All these fucking Pashas, all this colorful ass shit you see, you will never like.
You'll rarely see an
you
adult
rarely
who's
see
trying to
an-
quit cigarettes
yeah,
use those.
Someone who's trying to quit cigarettes.
Because think about it,
using those.
even
because also the percent on them is so high
yeah.
that it's just gonna
Might as well just smoke
make
a
you
cigarette.
like fiend it more.
They're I think what is it? Stig? They're just black.
Yeah,
But they have the flavors, but they're just black.
Yeah,
Well, so
That's-
like if they were all that way, I'm sure more and more people would just stop using them because they're not appealing.
they just keep pumping up the percentages and shit.
And then they
too.
make them big, like don't they make them like bigger sizes and shit, right?
Yeah,
Like-
and the higher percentage, the higher battery capacity you get on these things, the more it becomes about creating addiction than kicking.
yeah,
one.
and we're not downing anybody having a problem with addiction in any way or saying that this is a stupid thing to like try to do. What we're saying the problem is the not only that but
The marketing
the
scheme
marketing
is-
and the way social media has put it to make kids think that they should try it when they don't have a problem to begin with. Because I've seen people who I saw never smoke a fucking cigarette or anything in their life, and now they're fucking downing fucking Pashas by the fucking pack. They buy fucking 5 of them.
Dude, when you there's people who go through multiple of the big ones
Yeah.
in a fucking week,
And
and it's like, dude, you're smoking what? Like you're a pack a day smoker at that point.
It's like why this is why me personally I see it like why even you don't have the problem to begin with. You don't smoke cigarettes. You don't have fucking a nicotine addiction of any sort. You're not using Nicorette chewing gum. Why even start? What was the point? That was
marketing towards kids.
that was the part of marketing, but that's also the part of social media being like, "Oh, this is cool." Like, nah, like Bro, if that was me and like, you know, thinking about that, like when those were like really big and like, you know, I'm a 14, 15-year-old kid at that time, my parents would have killed me.
Yeah.
Like, bro, there's no
like,
reason.
And the people doing it, you see people doing it in school, like in the bathroom, and they're like, "Oh, these people are fucking playing the edge, like they're fucking risky shit." Like it's just shit that high school kids specifically see, and they want to do it because it's like everyone likes the little adrenaline rush you get of trying to sneaky do it in front of it. Oh, let's do it in the fucking classroom.
Plenty more things you could do than that.
Exactly, but it's just like that's part of the reason why a lot of people start doing it.
It's crazy because like I remember somebody got caught smoking fucking what was it, weed or some shit when I was in middle school, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck's gonna happen to him?" Like not because we were like, "Oh shit," like he's pushing the edge, because we were like genuinely like shit. What are they gonna do? Like, are they gonna ask me if I smoke, or like they're like what the fuck do we do? And we like it's such a different like. That's not even that many years apart from between us, and it just shows like how different the dynamic changed as soon as they started marketing that shit like that. Because before it was marketed, and you see these like nasty, like these weird ass black sticks, and you're like, "Well, that's fucking stupid. Why would I do that?" Like,
yeah, it's all in the marketing is when that.
I see a shiny ass fucking tube, and you're like, "Whoa!"
You're like, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, smoke cigarettes." No one smokes cigarettes anymore. You don't see young people smoking cigarettes. Well, now they're doing this.
Yeah, because they're all fucking down in packs of sticks.
Almost everyone our age is doing it like crazy. It's like,
it's either that or they're drinking or both.
And like fucking, you can't sit here and say we've never done it in our life, but I can definitely tell you I'm not fucking addicted to it.
I can promise you ain't catching me buying them shits for myself. Ever.
Yeah.
Like
it's like
and if I were to ever buy one, it's not for myself, it's for somebody else who wanted it because they can't go buy it themselves. And I'm not saying I'm buying it for them, you know, to sell it to them. It's because they have the fucking problem and they can't get it themselves. I'm not gonna be right next to a store and be like no to my friends.
I'm not gonna sit here and portray myself as some fucking patron
not
saint,
at all.
clean
not
motherfucker, because you know people have their vices. I get that.
People all do their shit. It's whatever.
It's all about moderation.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
You know, a lot of kids nowadays, that's the biggest thing is they jump into some shit thinking that it's just gonna be some, it's
just
for fun shit, and then they end up having a full blown addiction.
And for a lot of people, it's a slippery slope, man. I'm not gonna get too much into detail. I've seen a lot of shit with like family members and stuff.
Yeah. No, and just not even just family, but people in general. You see people.
I'll do this. It won't hurt if I just do this, and then I'll add on another thing. Oh, if I do this a little bit, it's not gonna hurt.
The biggest problem is
it's a snowball effect.
The biggest problem with it now, especially, is because a lot of kids they feed into each other. So it's like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, try it. This and that." Oh yeah, or they don't. It's not like the friend groups like. You know, there's still some, don't get me wrong, but a lot of friend groups, they more or less encourage the shit, and they like, oh, yeah, like, let's go, bro, like, you're lit for doing that. Like, they're not like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that, you know? It's more or less of an encouragement than like a checking your friends, like, yo, why are you doing that? Like, you don't need to be doing that. Because there was, I think, what is there, like a 4-year gap between us? I think my friend group in that area, everybody knew I didn't do shit like that. So if I would have done some shit like that, and I know my friends didn't do that shit during high school either. So if they would have done some shit, I'd be like, yeah, what are you doing? Like what the f wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, you check your friends. I mean, it's not cool. But and this is something that I look as far as the pod going. That's one of the things I want to be able to do is like if there's a kid out there that's like, damn, I need some sort of guidance or some shit. Like, looks at the pod. If we were able to get this message out there, to people and be like, yo, this is something that you're having trouble with, then I'm willing to talk to somebody about it or willing to help somebody if they wanted help with it. Because it sucks seeing some, for example, like there's kids who like I've read stories about kids who go to college and like there's a really successful kid, they never did anything, whether it comes to nicotine, weed, alcohol, and they go off to college or whatever, and then you end up hearing that they fucking died or some shit because they overdosed on some shit that they never did before, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't anybody tell them, like not to do that or be careful or whatever the fuck?
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Especially, with opioids now.
Yeah.
And it's being so popularized and becoming so accessible to people. And it's like things are getting laced with more and more different shit. Which
is really fucked up because, like, why would you could be, like, technically, like, knowingly killing people. Like, knowledgeably killing people because of what you're putting in the shit.
Most drug dealers are not anywhere really significant in life and are very desperate.
Well,
it
I
doesn't
understand
excuse
that,
what
but
they
I'm
do, but their
but
whole
I'm
thing
saying
is
like I'm not talking about because most dealers aren't the ones who are fucking cooking the shit up or whatever the fuck they call it.
yeah.
But the source of the shit, whoever is creating this, like how do you live with yourself knowing like you're possibly killing people
All they
because
care
of what you're
about
putting
is
in?
profit.
That's
It's stupid, and the reason why they lace it is because they lace it with more addictive shit than what the person is being advertised.
yeah, understood.
Like they're telling him, oh, you're gonna get this weed or this concentrated oil of weed
or whatever the fuck you're getting.
you're
Yeah,
gonna put in this thing and you're gonna smoke it. Little did they know there's fucking
crack
in it
or whatever,
Yeah.
fentanyl, or whatever the fuck.
Heroin
Or what's the other one that's fucking was it Flocka? Is that what it's called? Isn't that what the another one?
Flock is something else.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Putting other shit.
Fentanyl's the big one. Fentanyl's the big
Yeah,
killer
that's
right now
the really
because
big one right now.
That's fucking being laced in everything.
That's scary as.
You like
You would
your
never know.
best
You
bet-
can't know.
don't take anything from an unauthorized dealer, whether it be weed, whether it be
Alcohol,
alcohol,
whatever the fuck it may be.
whether it would be
A Nick stick. These dudes are fucking creative as hell. They'll figure out a way to put something in anything.
yeah.
So just whatever. And I'm not promoting buying shit in any way, but if you're going to, please do it responsibly.
Like you hear the feel good stories of like my drug dealer did a wellness check on me.
That's
blah, blah.
rare.
Sometimes it's good intentions, but even some of those stories, they're doing a wellness check because they need the fucking customer.
Yeah, because
They
they're trying to
want
make
the
sure
customer.
that their shit got
At
you
the
right
end
over
of
the.
the day,
They don't give.
most keyword most drug dealers do not give about your health.
They don't give
Otherwise,
a
they wouldn't be
flying
selling
shit.
you the thing that is destroying your health and destroying your life.
Yeah.
They care about making quick money, and that's
Mhm.
why they do what they do. And
Yeah.
they will do anything to get a sale off of you.
It is the sad truth that is going around right now. But as much as I would like to say, the world of drugs and the paraphernalia and all that shit works perfectly, that is the farthest place from perfect.
Doesn't. It's just
And it is a very dangerous place that I would hope everybody who either listens to the pod or ever comes across it would very, very graciously pay attention to closely with what you do with it. And I'm not saying I'm promoting it anyway, but I know people are still going to do shit, but if you do, please fucking be careful.
yeah.
Because there's so many stories of people doing shit.
Create
and
your own
fucking-
boundaries and strictly follow.
And
those
yeah,
boundaries.
follow them tightly.
I just think that you should, if you tell yourself you don't want to do something, don't do it. Like if you feel in your heart that you don't want to do it, don't do it at all. And who knows, 5 years down the line, you may feel differently about it. Just make sure you know what you were getting yourself into. And I can sit here all day and say, don't do drugs, never do this. But the truth is, a lot of you are still going to do it. But if you're going to do it,
Be careful.
know what you're getting yourself into. Fucking please. And just anyone who's, I don't know how many people listen to this actually are doing this shit. But if you're ever going to do any sort of hard drug, any sort of opioid, anything that are
This is
putting
an if
yourself at
again.
risk,
Again, for anybody watching or listening, this is an if. Not
please have Narcan. Please have Narcan on standby. And if you don't know what Narcan is, take the time to fucking
do your research. Simple.
research what it is, because
Save a life.
basically the way to put it, it's a miracle drug. It's an anti-overdose. It's
Save your
the
life.
only thing we know of right now that can literally reverse an overdose.
You can quite literally save your life.
Someone can be convulsing on the ground, and you can give them this.
Is it a pill or is
shot.
it like
It's an
like an
injection.
EpiPen
It's
basically
an
for an
injection.
overdose?
Yeah, it's exactly like an EpiPen.
yeah.
It reverses the effects of the overdose and saves lives.
Yeah.
And it should be, everyone should have one. They're free. You can get them for free.
Yeah. And with that
It's not
being
gonna cost you any
said, that's
money.
we're almost at an hour again. That's pretty much the episode. It wasn't the most positive episode, but it's an informative episode that I thought would be good for the time being. And like we said, if you're gonna do anything, again, not promoting in any way, but we know people do shit, and we know people are gonna do shit regardless of what they hear. Please, 1, do your research. 2, take precaution, and 3, make sure the people around you know where the fuck you're at, and if your friends are around you when you're doing shit, make sure there's always that one person that actually isn't an airhead and knows when to take action for whatever is going on. That's about it. That's episode 11. Shout out to everybody watching and sticking around. Obviously, we're slowly growing here. I think we're at 72 subs right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to everybody, all you guys again. Subscribe, like the video, comment, share it with everybody that you know. Throw some comments in there. Like I said, we need some interaction. We want to talk to you guys, figure out what you guys think about stuff, because that helps us, write shit for future episodes, writing in our notes and stuff like that. But yeah, nonetheless, it's been fun.
Educate yourself on Narcan.
Yeah, educate yourself.
Educate yourself on whatever you were putting into your body. Make sure you know what you were getting yourself into if you're going to do it, which I know some of you will.
Agreed. With that being said, peace. Don't do drugs, kids.